sort of letting it go. I was never sure if the monkey can pick this up. But we have to play all the games. Did you see, if you can go on my Facebook right now, I wish somebody would tell me how I can go and make the pictures appear at the same time that you see my screen. You'll see the actual pictures. It's crazy. It's not that I hate George. George, okay, didn't respect my girlfriend, but neither did I. And then another guy cheated on me with her when I was in Las Vegas. I forget his name, but he was 6'5". He was a huge guy, and he was one of the best bowlers I ever knew. So now I have to remember all these names. And he was a great golfer. And I used to go out with this guy. In fact, one of the biggest guys I ever put into business. One guy, another 6'2" guy, helped him out. He had absolutely nothing. He was stuck on the street. We went and we stole a truck. But we didn't steal anybody's truck. We stole my grandfather's truck. He was out of a job and he had no money. He couldn't drive around. He couldn't fix his vehicle. He had no money to pay rent, so I took him in. Boy, what a party animal that was. So got in the truck and we drove around the truck and took the truck, and then we came back and I says, okay. I says, I'll tell my uncle you're good enough to do it. And he was the best. He stole a little bit from the industry. But you know what? I guess it happens in all the industry. I never said a word. My parents owned the place. What am I going to do? He didn't steal it from them. He stole it out of the box. When he gave a box to a customer, he told him it was 28 pounds. He took out 2 pounds of chickens out of 25 different boxes, which is almost 80 to 100 pounds out of 20 different customers. Everybody lost $4, but he made an extra 100. Today he's a millionaire. Doesn't talk to me, doesn't treat people right, but you know what? I haven't seen him or spoke to him. But when I first came out of the hospital, that's the first place I went to live. Then he threw me out. We had a party one night. It was the greatest party I ever saw. I was totaled. You know what they had me on? They had me on 1,500 milligrams of Seroquel. I finished the picture. I'm not 100% finished. I still have to blackline it. But this is the second picture I've ever done. This was completely different. I'm not crazy about this picture because there's not a lot of small areas. And if there were small areas, they'd all be the same color. But you know what? Maybe I'll get a colored marker and be able to outline it with a colored marker instead of cutting it out with the black marker. You see Saturn over here? You see the magnet? See the red magnet? We might be pulled from underneath. That planet might be below us, not above us. In fact, this is the craziest thing. I had an idea. Why don't we use words out of games? I'm busy playing blackjack and the guy says, hit me, so I smacked him across the head. Security came, took me out. I go, what's going on? He says, you hit the guy. He says, well, I was doing a service. He said, hit me. I said, how hard? He says, hit me a king. Oh, fuck, I knocked his head off. Figured he'd be a king. Did you know that in the game of blackjack, all 10s and above are valued at 10, but when you play baccarat, all 10s are valued at 0. And every time you get the 10, you never count the 10 position. We're only counting the position from 1 to 9. The 2 points of a football is the way you play baccarat. And the funny thing about that is if you have a 3 and you get a card and it's an 8, the other team gets to pull a card because you have 1. So if the other team has below 6, and they pull a card, no matter what they pull, the only way for them to tie you or lose is a 6 and a 5. The electricity of man, they pulled the plug on man. The 8 was the heaven that joined the 2. The 3 was the creation of the 8. This is the game of baccarat, telling us how things were built in this world. I get so excited when I have Mary Jane. Oh my God. Oh my God. Does anybody, I'm gonna break this video up a little bit. Everybody knows that yesterday I ended up at Bureau en Gros, looked all over the store for the key and I couldn't find it. Just by some chance, I didn't lock my door because I didn't want to. So I went back in the car. I didn't find it. I looked, and it got dark outside. But since I knocked out the night light, and it doesn't work anymore, and it's been 6 months, and I have to put one in, but I haven't done it. I end up calling a taxi, taking me 5 miles to Kennedy Boulevard. Kennedy Boulevard, exit 43, the 43rd President, Barack Obama, Earth and Mars. Do you know Earth and Mars 3 and 4? There's so many numbers that I have right now. Why? In a certain situation, 1, 2, 3, 5. Why? Because 1 and 5 and 2 and 3. 1 and 5 make 6. 2 and 3 makes 5. But when you multiply 1 times 5, 1 plus 5, you end up with 6 and 5. Poker equals 65. The white wolf, the 7 white wolf, 65. Diamond is 60. Diamond's got the 4 points, 15 seconds each. Let's go 60, put 8 on 6 is 14, 1 and 4 is 5, and 6 in the other position. Because there's a double 0 on the roulette. I'm not sure. Should I open you up to this new thing right now, what I can do? Now I have to put 86 together. And I can also put 95 together. Okay? Why can I put 95 together? Because in the crap game, 10 and 4, 6 and 8, 5 and 9 are all 14s. They all go together. 14, 14, 14, 42. 42 stands for in between 5 and 9. You know what it's like, 5 and 9? It's like the nuclear reactors that are in Colorado underneath the ski hills. Or maybe it's in the Alps. I'm not sure. It depends. If it's in the Alps, we'll have to understand the urban city or the urban planet. Planet backwards is 10 Alps. What does it mean, 10 Alps? Alps can say help, help, help. Yelp is something that we can say for a dog. But I'm using 6 and 9. Maybe my number is wrong. Maybe it's not 6 and 9. Maybe it's 1 and 3 under the ground. The 1 spirit is under the ground inside the 3. But you can't put the 1 alone. The 1 is what passes through everything. Inside the 1 vein, all the blood passes through. That's what 1 is doing. It's going with the flow, you know. It's number 50. It's going all the way. Amen. Going all the way. 0 from 50 gets a 6, which is 56. How do we create it? 2 times 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5 and 6 equals 11. So did you see what I did? 2 times 3, 2 plus 3 is 5 and 6. 5 plus 6 is 11. 1 times 5, 1 plus 5, and which is the egg, and make 66 for the 2 islands. The whole egg together is a 6 until you break it open. The 6, why is it the 6? Because you have 30 eggs in a tray. Okay? Times 6 is 180. 18 is the angel spirit of the heaven, of the 1 chick that you got out of every single egg. So now where am I going to go with this? So this equals 1111. The only number we didn't use is the 4. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is 625. 6, 2, and 5. The word 6 equals to 52. So now you'll put the 6 in front of the 52. 65 is the white wolf. We played a game. Ace is high and ace is low. We get a straight both ways. But when we're playing high card, we always count ace is the highest. Once you flip your cards over, the dealer is going to tell you who the best hand is. Another way to get the numbers 2, 5, and 6 is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 256. 256 times 2 is 512. It's part of 512 megabyte. MB, which is 13, and B is 2. It's 132. 66 and 66 is 132. 44, 44, and 44, 132. 33, 33, 33, 33, 132. 264, 512 megabyte. 1024. When you get to 1024, it's 1024. 10 is the X in Roman numerals. 24 is the X in the alphabet. 10 and 24 is 34. Earth and Mars one more time. How many 3s go into 132? There's 34 3s, is there not? 43, hold on a second. 132 divided by 3 is 4. It's 132 into the 2 worlds is 43 by 43 by 3 is 132. How many 4s go into 132? Four times 3 is 120. I'll leave over 12. 3 by 4 is 12. 33. The command, the creation of the Christ of Earth and Mars, Barack Obama, who is the 33rd president now? Actually, not the 33rd. I want the 32nd president. This is Barack Obama. I want the 32nd president. I want to know who it is. Okay? So anyways, we got this. Now, where am I going next? Hit me! Oh, you got blackjack, eh? We'll pay you 1.5 times. Why? Because the egg, the 0. Every time you see 0, it's 1.5. So there's nothing he's got, but the 0 he has is 21. Which reminds me, I just started writing, not to confuse you, hit me. Another word that they use is, I'm drawing dead. Blackjack and poker. I'm drawing dead. All of a sudden I open the computer and there's a horse running on a racetrack and it says I'm drawing dead. The first thing. So I says, okay, I'll watch it. And I watched, and who won the race? I'm drawing dead. You have no chance. But let me tell you one thing. Where I am in my head, we have all kinds of chances. Because if we actually exist in the realm of computer science, okay, I'm quite sure there must be one who loves us and wants us to be real men, just like Geppetto said to Pinocchio, as we are configured and constructed by the chords within us, the accords, the accordions, the organs, our organs. Where else am I going to go? I'm drawing dead. Drawing, raw, backwards is war. Drawing, raw, but look at it backwards. It's ward, like in forward. So what does that mean, the forward? Here's the wing, okay? Drawing, it's the wig. What does that wig mean? Is it the wig that brings the electronics into you, that connects to your pineal gland, that goes up the spinal cord of your back? I don't know. Oh my God. Oh my God, George, I'm not mad at you. Don't you worry. I'm not mad at anybody. Okay? I lost my keys yesterday. It cost me $64, $58 for my keys. No, $28 for the keys. Plus it cost me 2 taxis at $15 because I tipped them. Even if they make a fortune, I had to tip them for the gracious service. Otherwise, I'd be walking home in minus 15 degrees and I never would have been to finish. By the time I did that all, okay, and got back to my car, and it cost me $60. I walk over to my car, and what do I see? There's a key sticking in the trunk. So now I have to remind myself anything to do with trunks. Trunks and drunks and elephants, that in French, they say in the game of craps, to get number 11, they say mon élève, which means my student. It also means the lips, and they usually say they get the lips from pork, from making lipstick from pigs that you put on your face. Élève is student. It also means to throw number 11. So isn't that corny that we should have to throw number 11 for élève? 6 and 5. 6 and 5 is the only 11 you can get. What does it connect to? It connects to 1 and 2. So either you connected your light, 1 and 2, you got the number 3, you lose. Because you've only created the 3 with 1 and 2. When you get 2 and 2, it means you have the 4 cube. You've got the sandbox of Mars. The odds are you get 2 to 1. Because you make 2 worlds run, one comes out as a voice and one comes in as a spirit. You already know what I did with the F. We took the 4 corners of the 4, and we took the 3 and we put it this way, and then we put this solenoid over here, and then we turned the 3 this way, and we put this solenoid over here. And there's a couple of, I don't know how many of them there are. Most likely there's 3. Remember the sand pit. Remember Mars and the sand pit connected to Saturn, and Saturn in French, terre, says earth. Jupiter at the end says earth, but Saturn at the beginning says earth, and it also is the representation of the one spirit of 9 and says sun within its own word with the 8T, which is angel transmission. Number 20 and number 1. 20, the 0 will be a 6. So it'll be 1, 2, 6, which is now the dog pound. 26, number 26. 2 times 6, 2 plus 6 equals 12 and 8, which is the letter T again. We get Z and T and Z and E, and then man on the moon, okay, the 28 days for man and the 28-day cycle for the moon, 2 times 8, 2 plus 8, okay, is 16, and 10 makes 26, and then it goes from T to Z to man on the moon, and then it goes all the way back to where you fall on the cross at number 14, 14 and 17. But you have to understand that they connect three direct worlds, 16 to 19, 17 to 20, and 18 to 21, saying this is the urban planet of Nibiru. That's what it comes to when I look at it. Don't you know, I play first come, first serve. My first thought that I think, and I try not to think at all. I just want it to be as it is. I can only tell the story from the righteous way as if I change nothing beyond my thoughts. So when I get in there, okay, we now have poker. We have the queen. 4 queens equals 40 in blackjack. But in the regular game of poker and probably everywhere else, okay, the queen will equal 48. This equals the space and the backdoor connection of number 2 and 3. 2 and 3, that makes 11. 4 times 8. This is the Super Bowl. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 2, 3 plus 2 is 11, makes 43. But the 4 by 8 is 32. 4 plus 8 is 12, equals 44. 4 times 4, 4 plus 4, create the PH and the X. So flight of the phoenix, whatever that means, comes out of 48. 48 and the queen over here, 40. You create in the two worlds a total of the queen of 88. Now your biggest question is this queen is the 17th letter in the alphabet. Since there are 4 of them in the deck, you got a total of 68. That's the net star. 68 is the net star. .net. They don't own the system. They must be .net 10. 10 is net because .com is the real game, and I don't think they can real game. This is like hanging up a bunch of beehives inside the world of Urantia. Oh man, yeah. And I can see these beehives hung up over here, and you really don't see anything out except for what you see up. The Urantia world. Go look at 7286. Don't zoom in too much. Pegasus, and move it around with your what's it called? Keep moving it. It'll look like there's a range of beehives down there. Okay, I know it's at the bottom of everything. I know the coincidence was Andromeda. Okay, so that's why I'm so heavy on this. Has anybody ever seen this? This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. Star number 445. He's the reason for low shoe. This is the reason for low shoe. Low shoe is 45 and 15. This is the reason for low shoe. This is the stand. Okay, see the way it turns over here? It's giving the energy all the way to here. This splits with a D and a D. This splits, we have 4 angles. Then becomes B or 8, 8, E. And you see the way it's on not at the center? Because you can't be at the center. That's where the passage is. You have to be between the center and somewhere over here. I'm going to have to study exactly what it is just to see where we are on the football field, if that's the game we have to play in order to figure out this situation we're in right now. Are we in a situation? So I'm going to just continue on that the jack, okay, ends up getting 84. The jack ends up getting this number, space. Jack is 40 and 44 is 84. Same thing, space. Except when you add these two up together to get 44, 44, and this one becomes 92. 92 represents yellow and red, which are the two ends of the football. So you now have life in space of Jack. The king is the 11th letter in the alphabet. It becomes 44. Here's your 44. So if that becomes 44, the king, it becomes 84. And this one becomes 84. The jack is 40. Okay. 40 plus 44. 84. The king is 40. Okay, but it's the 11th letter in the alphabet. 11th letter in the alphabet, 4 by 11 is 44. You end up with this 44. So again, you all becomes the same thing. It says 48, space, and it's run by the queen. The difference between here and here is 36. Creation of Rach. Okay, 36 is 9 by 4. Okay, now 9 is because it's the I birth. 3 times 3 is the 9. Remember, we went 1 and 2. When 1 and 2 came together and went into the, when 1 and 2 came together, when 1 and 2 came together, and they showed themselves in this over here. 1 and 2 came together and showed itself as this. But then as it showed itself in this, it as this, okay? it shoved itself, it shoved this inside of here. This will become 7, okay, altogether. And then if I do it the other way, this will become 7. So two different 7s for the doghouse of Mars and Earth. Now this connects to the electricity right next to it. Now I'm not sure if it does this. Okay? See all the feeders? 2 worlds? Feeds both sides. The cover for both sides. Okay? So now if we feed the 2 worlds, now one is a birth, so it's a 9-9, so one's a 9E. It's an E, electronic resident angel. What's in your head, but you're alive. So it's alive in your head. You're an angel resident because you're the working person, and it's an electronic resident ER in the place of AR. Do you know why? Because if you put ER or AR and say it all together, you're back in the rear. So one of you is in the rear. If you take it as an omega, it'd be the roar of the lion, because one of them, okay, projects itself, and the other one does the work and brings on the incoming spirit. And it's so fast because it ends up to be me at the end, basically. So we were doing this thing on 2, 5, and 6, where it became memory. I don't know if you want to go back to that. We were doing Urban Planet, and we were doing that either in the Alps or in Colorado. Right now, inside the mountains, there's some kind of nuclear something going on, and there's one here and there's one here. It's like a bunch of mountains together, and there's something going on underneath that area. Okay, and why do I say this? Because when I looked at the 5 card, yeah, I can't rush through these things, okay? He's waving goodbye with a hand. You see which hand he's got? See, he makes the V. It makes the complete V over here, his thumb with the rest of his hand, his beard, I mean. Okay, and then you have to look in the back. There's a mask. There's a mask over here. See the way this opens up? See the way this curves? Okay, red and blue. Curves is a sign of electricity. You see over here? This is some sort of, I don't know what kind of system they have. Here's the reason. Here it is, and it's drawn right for you. Take a look at these 2 eyes. Take a look like either it's us, and this is the penguin, and we've got our hands in the air because we got to get to the polar ice. So if we have the penguin, you have the polar ice. Okay, you got the hands up, so you're frozen. So you got to be somewhere where you can get energy where it's cold, and the only place to be is because it's Colorado. And another thing is that Coors is taking on the 3 stars. I think they do the 3 stars for the whole NHL. Coors. The 3 stars for the whole NHL Coors. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they're doing a whole lot of other stuff, Coors. It's time to look at our advertising and who's doing the advertising and what the advertisements are, because it's all manipulative on a deeper level. And I'm not sure if these people are manipulated saying, hey, we need you to do this for us. No, it's a company that owns. Okay, I think it's the company that owns the advertising. All these big advertisers, they're the ones telling the story. So when you buy, if you buy all the time on TV, then that's who's going to be telling you the whole story. Okay, whether they're paid off for it or not. See, look. So then that what I showed you, okay, was the reactor. I was just showing you the reactor. So I'm going to show you Christopher pulled a diamond 8, 2 moons. Okay, so he's getting it straight with a diamond 8. But this is only, I'm not sure. I'm thinking this is only the blood of man. So it means he's still alive. So no matter what the other one bets, it doesn't matter. Do you know why? You know why it doesn't matter if he's got 4 aces? Because 4 aces means somebody lives. He's got the light. This 1 will light up and make this 8. This 8. This 8 will become a 9. See your 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Here's your 4. Here's your 4. But this does not play. These can't play. They're too far. These are the 4 that are the outside electrical, whatever the house is. It's supposed to be like this, actually. So this would be your 9 at the end. See the way the 9, the house is up here, and then the other house is down here? Because that's you. It's your equilibrium. You don't need it. There's no moons over here because the moon is in you. You are the moons. In fact, this is basically the way it's supposed to be. I have to explain that card a little bit better. I have to think of it. I don't know it well enough myself. So I'd like to be very honest with you. Oh, yeah, you know what? And we always have to remember in SpongeBob what Gary does. You know why? Because I had this guy named Gary once, and he got me involved with something, and I was very happy, but I didn't know the guy was a cheater and a liar, his friend. So, and then he always says, oh, it wasn't me, I didn't know. One of his best friends he didn't know, and didn't try to fix the thing for me, just laughed about the situation. So that was a guy named Gary. And then also I did wrong myself, so that's a guy named Ronnie. But when you're kids, nobody can say Ronnie. They go Ani, Ani. Then they listen to me on the telephone, they go Johnny. So all my life people have been calling me Johnny. All my life. In fact, this morning, the concierge I'm busy cleaning off the snow and ice from my car, and it was 2617, I saw that, and he says, Johnny, he says, can you move your car, Johnny? Johnny's a jack inside the game of cards. Diamonds, gold, silver, bronze. I want to get to this over here. And no, yes, I'm going to get to this. So we have Nibiru. Ru, B, Ban. A and N is actually the part of the Mediterranean. A and N, A and N. Why? Because the N is in the E family. So A and N, okay? If you want to count the A as its true value, okay, because the A is in the center. The ace I'm counting as 1, but I'm eventually going to change the value of the ace because it plays always from the center hole, and the ace becomes a 9, and the I becomes a 1. That's the way I would have to actually split it up. So you have EN, you have AEN, E and N is 19. This is the moon, the angel and the moon, the beta angel resident and the moon. Why? Because here's an R, and this comes with an A. It's you are a being. You are a being. You are a human being. Why? Because the B has an E that follows it, and an A and an E and an N, and you are being. So if you are a being, you're a human being, because the H in French is not always pronounced, and if I need to use it to make sure that my story is right, I may as well just do it. What do you think? I'm going to try and make sure that I never miss telling you something and keep a secret from everybody. I don't want to have any secrets, and I don't have any secrets. I share at the time that I could share. I tell you what I could. I do the best possible what I could. I'm going to try my best next time. Silver is number 85. But the numerological value, okay, in the area that is the ace position or the 1 position, but it's not the ace position. Do you know what position it is? It's the position of the president, number 43, Earth and Mars. Why? Because Earth and Mars, 26 and 17. We have to understand 26 and 17 presidents also. Okay? Earth and Mars. So the number 1 on a debit machine, okay, the number 1 on a debit machine gets the number 43, Earth and Mars. When you multiply and add it, it equals to 19. Okay? So now you have 1 and 9, which is the yellow pool ball and the yellow 9 ball. And replacing the 17, the 26 of Barack Obama, number 43, which also represents the Queen, you now have the protein and the yellow from the egg of who you are, which under Zion and Israel and 0, it's under the 4 and the 6 yellow in the horse racing, or the 1 and 9 from pool. In that instance, your red blood turns into AB, which is the active spirit. Red is in the minus, because it's minus inside of you, and you get the red minus. When you get the red minus, 1 and 9. Anyways, besides that, 19 in roulette. Okay, 19 in roulette is in the 1 position on the roulette board. It's just after 16, and it connects to 16. And 6 and 9 play with each other. The 9 goes into the head, the 6 comes on the outside. 9 times 6 is 54 of Rubik's Cube faces, but 9 of the faces are pointing down. 9 of the faces are pointing up. 4 times 9 is, 4 by 9 is 36, that's around. 9 up, 36 around, 9 down. 3 and 6 is 9, and it's short line rail in Monopoly. In which, you know what's funny? Spirit Angel and Man, Barack Obama, B&O rail is the 25th position. 25 from home stands for Jack. 26, okay, is the position in property, number 26 B&O. And that's the part of the 2617 of the 43rd president. It equals to 77, does it not? C for Christ 3, H for Christ 8, 11. R is 18, C, H, R, 3, 8, and 18. And C, H, R, I, S, T. Look at that. First. 3, 8, 18, the I is a 9, the S and T is 39, plus 19, plus 20, 39, 48, and 77, 43, 34, Barack Obama, JFK, Earth and Mars, and this number becomes number 29. The first 3 numbers of C, H, and R is 29. 2 times this is 58. 5 times 8, 5 plus 8 gives you to your 53, which connects you to Pumbaa and the Lion King, which connects you to the bacon and the sausages, and how pigs can fly, and the communication of spirit is carried by the pig. And that's why the tail is electronic. Arnold's tail. 5 times 4. You remember that number 256 from before? And what can go inside 256? What goes inside 256 is 1 and 2 and 5 and 4. 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. 1 and 2, 4, 5 can make this number. The 3 is missing. When we created 1, 2, 3, 5, which created 11, 11, the 4 was missing. You follow what I'm saying? 6 and 6. 1 and 5 is 15. 2 and 4 is 15. Planet of the Apes. So we look at this as Nibiru, 10 Alps. Silver and gold. Silver is 85. Okay? The opposite is 58. Okay? The opposite is 58. 2 times this is 58. 5 times 4. 5 plus 4 equals 20 plus 9 equals I and T. 20 plus 9, the letter T, is 20. The letter 9 is I. It's the IT of Christ who came first, coming out of the first 3 letters of C, H, and R, creation, heaven. Here's your 11. 3 by 8 is 24. This is your 35. Again, it's an electronic world, and everybody's passing through this. We sing the national anthem. Do you know why? Because Christ's blood is the O blood. That's why it's in all of us. Christ's blood is the O blood. I'd like to know what my blood is. But it's not all O. It's the C that goes over the O. And then whatever characteristics it has changed, that's the way I see it. I could be wrong. Okay? Now at the same time, hot and cold water equals 77. 7 times 7, 7 plus 7, equals 63. The word 11 is 63. And it's the creation of the angel resident, the AR. In the OR. The OR is the operating table. OR in French is gold. And it also has to do with the salmon and their eggs. They call it roe. Roe is something you take out an ore. The ore is the O blood of the angel resident. Okay? So again, or what is it about salmon? Because I had a revelation about salmon today. I started thinking of something about salmon. I wasn't sure what it was. Another thing is Elvis Presley. I mentioned this once or twice, but it's all about the hips. The hips and the ships. Okay? Elvis Presley moved the hips, and that's how they sway the ocean. They had to take him down for some reason. He had to put it out there to get certain words that would go on in time. Elvis was the ship. Okay? His ships were his hips. It had to do with L. No L says Christmas. No L. N-O are the first four numbers in pi, which is 1, 4, 1, and 5. 1, 4 is 1 times 4. 1 plus 4 equals 4 and 5. Number of the sun, number of the fox. 4 and 5 is 9. Now, O is the 15th letter. 1 times 5, 1 plus 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 and 6 is 11. You've got 5, 11. You've got 9, 11. D, E, and F is what connects your electronics. Now, I'm not going to redesign this. Right over here. This is a butterfly. What you do is you curl the F around this electricity here, and then you curl the X on this one, and then it makes this. It makes like a butterfly. So this becomes the E, and the D, the E, and the F all go here, and you connect the corners. All the corners is, if you want, is 1, 3, 7, and 9, and they're electronically connected at the heart after. Then the energy passes through the heart, and then passes through your hips here, which is your backbone, and inside of your head up over here. And a good representation of that would be this. 6 areas, but only 4 of them with balls. What else did I want to tell you? Uranus. It all passes by Uranus for some reason. Blue and orange is 40 and 60. So it stands for Mars and Jupiter, Mars and Saturn. And remember, Saturn in French, okay, it says Earth. And Jupiter in French says Earth. 2 against 1, we only have one Earth and Earth. What does Earth say? It says heart. It says we're a man. Earth is who you are, and it's like Israel. Israel is a person, and Earth is the substance that they made to use to create us. See the stripes over here for the E world? These stripes are exactly connected to 16, 19, 17, 20, and 18 and 21 on the roulette wheel. And then it creates this figure over here. Okay, remember you can go 1, 1, 1 after the X? Well, 1, 1, 1 would be 13. Then they go inside. What's this one over here? This is the first star link. 1379. They have the energy coming from Venus over here, down to number 5, which is in the center, and 4 and 6 are on the outside. So that's what your 9 is. And then you go further down, and it shows you how you build on that energy. And there's numbers that go along with everything. I did not do the 12 days of Christmas yet. Another thing, Q-A-T-A-R. It says rat. It says attack on it. Attack Q. The first thing I see, it says a rat attack. Okay? Now when it says Beck at the other end, okay, this is because it's going to be in, it says Quebec. Look what happened to this word. When they mentioned Qatar, and then I heard the Canadians were in Tennessee, and I know it's a 9/11 corner. And they were in St. Louis, okay, singing the blues. And Montreal has won 24 Stanley Cups. And they got to get into, I think they got to come into this, onto this side of the border to make everything look more real for whatever they're trying to do. But it doesn't matter. All I do is try to figure out things that look relevant to me. The reason I mention also Elvis Presley is because the first page of our newspaper here, they're talking about Elvis Presley, new Elvis Presley. They found the new Elvis Presley. They found the new Elvis Presley. How many years has it been? They found the new Elvis Presley. You know the Michael syndrome, the Michael Jackson syndrome? It's not, it wasn't his doctor's fault at all. I know, I know, I know. Because when I go down the rabbit hole, whatever I take to keep me out of there, whatever I take keeps me back. I am so powerful when I go into that world. I know I can probably go deeper, but you got to build up, I think, the speed in order to be able to live in the speed. Anyways, I'm not sure what is next. Yes, here's just a little note. September says scepter on it, which says 7-3. Sceptre is 7-3, which is the month of November. So now it says 7-3 and 9. 3 and 9, 7 and 3 is 63. 36 is 108. 108 is JH, Jack Heaven, however you want to do it. But anyways, 7 times 3, 7 plus 3 is the 31 days, which is the energy that comes from the one angle and connects to the 9. It's the protein of man. 3 is red. 7 is burgundy brown. It builds man. This is seems to be man's creation formula, because the one spirit is 6 at what gives him the light. So September seems to say 7. And October, octagon, look what October says. Tag 1. Octagon. I actually wrote octagon. I didn't write October. Octagon, tag 1. Octo. Bear is to bear one. To have and to bear. So that was something I was looking at. This says cat, because the sound of the Q in French is cat. Cat attack. What's a cat attack? What are they going to do? How are they? What does it mean? The rat, the cat attack. Okay. Anyways, this is just Qatar. Just to say it's like guitar, and it's usually the first thing that came into my mind was 7 strings. So from the 7th gate, so now you have to know where the 7th gate is. The 7th gate must be where? Is it under the ground or is it in the sky? I think the 7th gate comes from the moon. I think that's what's going to happen. Whatever happens, look at the moon. The first thing you want to see is the moon. It's the first thing you want to look at. 2, 5, and 6 again. I'm not sure where to go with this. Uranus, 9 times 4 is the creation of the angel resident. 94 is Uranus. 36 and 13. 36 and 1 is 37. Here you are, here's your body, and here's the cross on your back. The total of the two become 57. This is the year right now, 5775, when everything comes together. What I wanted to show you is here's the card, here's the 7th card, 5 and 2. Here's the 7 dice. The light is on the outside. You only see these 3 and these 3. Okay? But if you take a look at this one, it looks like the H. Here's a standing I. Here's a standing I. Here's a standing H. Now, if you want to connect it all together, you design this. You connect it all together. Plus, there's a line that goes across, and you make ace, ace out of this. And a line will come down here, but it comes through here, and then it goes up and down from this part. It comes in and it brings the light. It comes in and it brings the light for this. Is it a 5-star? Why is it a 5-star? It turns in a certain way so it can pass through its cubes. Look the angle of this, 2, 4, 6, 8. Are in the position of 1379. 4, 2, 8, 6. This is low shoe. This is low shoe right here. Exactly. This is what they did to low shoe. When they turned it sideways, the numbers in the other way in the square world automatically reversed. If you move away this, the other world shows up. The circle is over here, and then there's the triangle, and this is the square. Now, when I found these designs, I went to, I'm not sure where I went to, but I looked at the designs from somewhere else, and they each had colors. Oh yes, at Walmart. I took pictures at Walmart and I put it on it, so I was uploading it. 4411. 44 and 11 I had somewhere, because 11 is a number that, 11 or 44 is a number, I don't know where it is, that doesn't go somewhere. Hold on a second. 44. Somehow, somewhere, I multiplied 4 times 11. and it equals to 44. And the 11th card is the king, equals to 44. And it's the king is the 13th card. 13th card is king, equals to 52. 4 times 13 is 52. The total is 96. The king gets a total of 96. That's your life. You've been kinged. You only can go one way. We did urban. Yes, another thing. This is what it was about the salmon, if you've still been with me. The salmon, okay, is lox and bagels. The Jewish people, or at least in my family, we always wanted to go for lox and bagels. Everybody wants to eat lox and bagels. Smoked. So what is this all about, smoked lox and bagels? I forgot to tell you something about this. Jesus is 74. Jesus is 74. This will make 1111. At the same time, 74, Jesus, times 4 times 33, 74 times 33 equals 1551. It's an electronic world, this Christ world. Okay? Maybe he's real and all, I mean, for sure, I mean, because he says a lot of things that are true. But it's the game that comes with it. Christ is real, but the game is not. They make you play it. They make you believe. Anyways, Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. We did a lot of it. Anyways, just to make a long story short, I went to the shopping center tonight, and my bank card wouldn't work, so I needed a telephone. So I went inside, and I was talking to a lady at the lottery area. And she was like freaking out about what I was telling her. But then after, she didn't want to talk to me at all. So it's like she might have just been agreeing with me. I lost my key again. Didn't find it. So I took a taxi home. Went inside. No, first I went to the bank. So it cost me an extra $2 to the bank because I had to fix my bank card. Okay. Then I went home. Picked up a key that I made yesterday because I lost also a key yesterday, so I made a couple of extra ones, plus I found the other one, making it 3. Now I lost one is 2. I know where one is. I'm not sure where the other one is. So I go to the store. He brought me home. I left him with a $20 bill in the car. It was $10 on the meter. I said, wait until it's $20 and leave. And after 5 minutes, I was out of the house. It was only up $1.50. Got back in the car, went back to the shopping center, picked up my car, and came home. Between today and yesterday, it cost me $58, $68, $73. Oh, plus $73, 30, 45, 55, 65, $73 with the key yet. All right, Raphaels, thank you very much for watching this video.